gentlemen, welcome back to the High School Star League 2015 Grand Finals. It is game number 3 of Temple City versus Thomas S. Wootton 1-1. Should be a great game coming up. I'm Crusader King here with Seth Achilles King. And look at that, Twisted Fate Shenban.
Yeah, and this is not too surprising, and neither is that Sejuani being taken off the board. Sejuani ban, not something that I've seen for a very, very long time, but very well deserved. Panther Lily played phenomenally with that Sejuani in the last game. Hecarim's still going to be taken off the board here away from Captain Nuke. Not too surprising in that regard either, but man, what a game coming up from Temple City, really proving themselves and proving they're deserving of this final spot. Yeah,
Fizz ban here once again, so these teams are going to continue to, actually same ban from Temple City from the last game. New ban is, of course, the Sejuani, repeated with the Hecarim ban. And I mean, after that game, like this series just seems so up in the air. We saw some huge team play coming out of Temple City, and Thomas S. just weren't able to keep up. So winning on this last ban, it's going to be the Oriana against Zud. So some huge target bans from the last game, or from the previous games, from both of these teams.
Yeah, Oriana out, so just denying that Wombo combo potential from Temple City, so nothing too surprising. Gnar going to go ahead and get instantly locked in here for Captain Nuke. Yeah, it's been so essential in this series so far, so nothing too shocking there. The Sivir is, was also available, but didn't necessarily work out as a first-round pick there for Wootton in that last time. So going to opt for the Gnar this time. So a lot still on the board, as always, that we have to discuss. Sivir and Alistar going to be the staple bot lane, grabbed up by Wootton.
That is such a huge pickup. They've played this bottom lane a few times in ranked 5s, and in general, it's just such a strong comp to be bringing in here. Yeah. So some huge picks coming in first. As we talked about, the Gnar coming out. It's such a good pick. We've seen both Gnars do very well in their lanes in terms of CS. One was on RC, one was on Captain Nuke. But I think positivity back on the Sivir. Great comfort pick for him. Plus the dice on the Alistar, not only great support, but a great champion for him to play. Zed hovering over the Ziggs here. It is a champion he's played quite often.
Yeah, we saw this actually twice yesterday from him. And it was played to pretty good effect. So it will, in fact, be locked in, as will the Nautilus here for Tilt God. Yeah, basically again, just his staple champion at this point in the game.
So Jinx could come out again. Johan has a great performance on it. However, we will see what comes out. Zud picking up the Ziggs. He's played it, as I said, twice in run around the 16, and then twice in the semifinals match that they played here. So it's obviously a great comfort pick for him. It provides so much AoE damage, a lot of poke potential. Picking the Nautilus with it, some great engage.
Yeah, great engage indeed. Now, next round of picks come through for Wootton. We'll have to see what these guys want to do. We know they're bot lane, but not too much beyond that. The Rek'Sai is still available. It had great pressure from Yami early on, was able to get 3 summoner spells in his first gank in the bot lane, plus the flash down, but it's actually going to be the Shyvana coming out. Now this is interesting. This is going to be one of the first Devourer junglers that we're actually seeing here in the tournament.
One of the first Shyvanas that we're going to be seeing. I
think it is the first Shyvana.
At least in this top 4. We're going to be seeing, once again, Victor coming out for White.
Oh.
Great pick coming in for him.
We won't talk about that yet.
Yeah, let's not talk about those hovers. Victor, White coming in with the Victor. I mean, he didn't have the best showing on it in the last game, but he did have some good moments coming out from him. You combined it with like the Rumble ultimate and the Chaos Storm. He had some really good gravity fields to just separate himself from the fight, disengage, all that kind of stuff. Shyvana coming in, though, for the jungle is going to be really interesting. There's some pretty big ways of engaging here. Or it could be Shyvana top.
It could be, but right now, with as strong as she is in the jungle, I highly doubt that we would see that one. And I guess now we can talk about it. It is locked in. We'll see the repeat performance, potentially, of the Jinx here for Johan, who had such a good game. But Zach in the jungle, something that we do not see pretty much at all at this point, is actually going to be coming in here for Panther Lily. So a little bit of a risky selection. Something that I would have more liked to have seen maybe in the first game, where you have a little bit more leeway, but now that it's 1-1 in the series, it's a little bit risky. We'll see if it's able to pay off for him and if he's able to apply some good pressure around the map. Last pick, though, likely going to be that top lane here for Wootton High School. Going in against the Gnar, we'll see what RC wants to pick up. Could revisit that Rumble. I doubt if he wants to do that after last performance. There were several ultimates that were not placed very well. you know, and just kind of resulted in poor team play. Because of that, it actually is going to be the Aurelia now locked in. So Aurelia into Gnar. This was one of the first pickups to counter Gnar that we saw coming out. So going back to that pretty reliable one. Obviously, this is going to be a great choice to dive onto the back lane, you know, get on top of Johan and melt through his HP bar as long as this Aurelia can take off. So I do have to say I like the draft that is coming out from Wootton here.
This is an interesting draft here. Aurelia actually most played for Captain Nuke, but it's actually RC bringing it in. He has played quite a bit of it in solo queues, third most played, where he does have a 67% win rate with this champion. So great pick coming out for him. Unfortunately, I have that reoccurring lobby bug, but we will be getting back into the game very shortly, guys. After this game, we're going to be at match point. Yeah, and that's a very scary thing for both of these teams, and the pressure is on, you know, more heavily than ever. So guaranteed match point for one of these teams, and then from there you have to, you know, win out 2 in a row, which is just not an easy task whatsoever. And with the showing that we've seen from both teams, you know, both teams kind of had their own game. Temple City had that last game almost entirely to themselves, and then we saw Wootton have the first game pretty commandingly. So we know that both of these teams have the capacity to just get a lead and hold on to it and not really give any leeway to either side. So with that in mind, we're going to have to look at this early play quite heavily, but also have to keep in mind this Jinx. You know, regardless of how the early game goes, you always have to be wary that Jinx is going to be able to come back from behind and just start hyper-scaling, you know, late into the game. So definitely going to be something to keep our eye on, you know, for Temple City with that one. But with Wootton, with that Aurelia in the top side for RC, like I said, diving into the back line, that's going to be much more easy and much more effective, hopefully, for them. We'll see if it's able to pay off. Yeah, he's going up against the Gnar. The Gnar is a champion we've been seeing winning top lane time and time again, especially in this matchup here. So we'll be seeing how that one goes down. It's going to be great to see the Alistar Silver bottom lane. It's such a strong bottom lane. There's so much engage here for this side, as I said, of Thomas S. Wootton. Yeah, it's good crowd control and damage coming out from both sides. So a lot of wave clear for both of these AD carries. The rockets, of course, going to be coming out from the Jinx. Good AoE splash on that, especially in team fights. The Boomerang Blade plus Ricochet can just absolutely melt through waves and towers. So both of these ADCs are pretty well matched, but obviously Jinx is going to scale harder and harder the more she gets. She plays off crit so well and pretty much better than just about any other AD carry in the game. So early on, I feel like this is going to be just a lot of back and forth harass. I don't know that we'll see any real kills coming out without jungle presence. When we see those junglers come in, then it's a whole different story. But as far as trading back and forth, you know, the Nautilus offers a lot of crowd control, the slow off the Riptide, but he's going up against, you know, a headbutt pulverized Alistar with some sustain. Well, it should just be a lot of back and forth wet noodle fighting in that bot lane. Yeah, well, this is kind of the same bot lane that we saw from, or this is the same bot lane we saw from Temple City in the last game. Yeah. Nautilus, Jinx, they go really aggressive with that, and it's obviously champions they are comfortable with. Also coming out was, okay, Alistar Silver. It was, junglers. I want to talk about junglers. So we kind of saw basically back and forth performances by the junglers. First game, Yami was super present in the early game. He got obviously kind of the driving force for Thomas S. Wootton in that game. Second game, he did get some early ganks off, but it was Panther Lily who really made the difference there. And Yami was 0-0-0 for quite some time and just didn't seem to be participating too much. There are your teams up on the screen. And this is going to be game number 3 of this best of 5. Pressure certainly on for these guys. Only getting, you know, very slight breaks in between these games. A lot to be talked about for them. You can see we are on to the Rift. Items are coming out. It's game number 3 between Temple City and Wootton High Schools. You can hear the chants from the crowd coming out behind me. Temple City being pretty well represented here. The favorite in the state of California. Wootton, the East Coast menace, coming across the country to take down all in their path. We'll see if they're going to be able to close this out. They both seem represented. I'm not too sure if people are cheering for both teams, but this is the battle to see which coast is best coast. Yeah, East Coast versus West Coast here. California team Temple City versus Thomas S. Wootton, East Coast. We have a lot of East Coast players here from different games, so obviously they're a little bit biased.
All right,
East Coast so far 2-0 actually. East Coast players have been picking up some wins in StarCraft 2 and Hearthstone.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Let's see if that can happen here. Thomas S. Wootton, as we'll keep saying, coming to this tournament with seemingly a disadvantage with all the no more of the carry mid laner. He had to be subbed in or subbed out, and then all the roster swaps coming in. But this just seems like such a strong lineup. Did kind of falter in the last game. We are seeing just kind of the general line of scrimmages coming out.
Yeah, and this has been consistent in pretty much all of the games that we've seen across the last 2 days. We haven't really seen any invasive play. Aside from the junglers, going in and taking away a couple buffs, we haven't seen any full-on, full-team invasive play quite just yet. Not sure if we're going to get to see that one either. You can see the double Grom Star going to be coming in here for Captain Nuke and Panther Lily. Yami going to be starting over at those Krugs, not needing any assistance, so that will put RC straight up into that lane. We can see the Grom start and the Krug start coming in for both of these bot lanes, so going to be kicking things off with some pretty even footing.
Having level 2 for both of these bot lanes is just really, really important. Nautilus, Alistar, huge support champions when they're at level 2. Lots of CC, lots of combos that can come out from them. So we'll be getting into lane with that extra bit of experience, and we're likely to see a little bit of fighting here. Both AD carries are here at level 2. And I would expect to see some aggressive plays coming out from Tokan and Johan. This is the bottom lane they had last game, and we need to go with that. So we do have RC up in the top lane. He didn't opt to go help double jungle, go back, and then teleport in. Yeah. He's going to be staying in the lane. Captain Nuke, however, is going to be teleporting into lane, has some extra health potions.
Yeah, so a few extra items for him, and he's likely going to need that because of the harass that RC is going to be able to put down. Once he gets that W really specced up, the true damage that he's going to be outputting on, the active with the with that W passive, it's going to be pretty rough to deal with there for Captain Nuke, so not too surprising that he just opts to get some extra sustain in that regard. We'll see what he wants to do for his first build item. I wouldn't be terribly shocked if he just goes almost straight for a random wins, maybe starts with a Warden Mail or a Giant's Belt for that, and just goes tanky out the gates. I don't think that he's going to, unless he plays this phenomenally, I don't think he's going to be in any real position to start with something like a Black Cleaver. Let's see. So far, pretty even across the board here. RC does have a very slight gold lead because he opted to go straight to that lane. So only up a couple, though, so not going to be too impactful. Johan doing a good job, though, clearing out these waves and keeping it shoved up. Well, really keeping positivity stuck underneath of that tower and making him reliant on CSing. And you see the turret taking away a lot of those minions. So that will put him a couple behind of Johan at the end of the day. That's going to be quite nice for the Jinx. Yeah,
Johan, obviously, this comfort pick Jinx coming in for him. Same thing for positivity, but let's keep talking about it. The aggression coming out from Nautilus Jinx, so strong here in this early game. So we'll have to see where these junglers go. Shyvana and Zach coming out. These are the first times we've seen these junglers, at least in this top 4 teams, the semifinals, constellations, finals. We haven't seen these champions before. We're going to see how they do with them. It's really interesting that they pulled these out.
Yeah, we can see the first part of the item has actually been completed by both of them, so off to a pretty good farm start. Yami, though, with a much faster clear time, just innately because of that burnout on the W, a lot of passive damage, plus that percentage HP damage that Shyvana does. Going to be able to clear these camps much faster than Panther Lily. Panther Lily does spot out. Yami chases him back into his own jungle, but the kill be quite all right with that. It's just going to rotate up to the Krugs. Captain Nuke, with that knowledge of where Shyvana's at, should play a bit cautiously here. You can see he does have that ward in the river as well. Going to keep himself safe and out of harm's way as he tries to get his CS back up here. Wave crashing into him, he should be able to equalize his numbers.
Yep, so 0-0 here, 5 minutes in. The winner of this game goes to match point because it will be up 2-1 in the best of 5. So it has to just be a really careful game for both of these teams. That being said, though, they do pick the Zach and the Shyvana, which is obviously, as you were going to keep saying, really interesting coming out. Zed, though, on his comfort pick, the Ziggs here that he's shown to have a lot of success on. Should be interesting. Yami making it down to the bottom lane, completely undetected. They throw Tilkad up against the wall here.
Gets popped up. The choppers come down. Yami actually walks into that one, but they go straight on to Tilkad, who pops out that flash. Riptide comes through, slows him out. Here comes Panther Lily on the backside as well. The Rockets are just chunking them down with that AoE splash, but they're not going to be able to find any real counter engage there. So good counter pressure, though, for Panther Lily to show up. They get that flash away from Tilkad. Overall, not too much gained, unless they can pressure out that Nautilus, but he's still pretty innately tanky, so I don't know if they're going to be able to take too much advantage of that.
Yeah, 10 CS up here, though. Actually, 13 CS up here for Johan over Positivity. He just continue to shove up this wave and keep this pressure going. Positivity, as you can see, is down below half health. And Johan and Tilkad are doing a really good job of trading, doing the damage they need. Really putting Positivity on the back foot here. And it's interesting because normally we don't see like huge performance out of this. We like to watch, Captain Nuke carry as the top laner, Zed do really well, or pressure coming out from Panther Lily. But the biggest difference we're seeing in terms of an advantage for Temple City is this bottom lane, who have really shown up so far, this early into the game. Johan and Tilkad on this bottom lane duo that they have played before. Should be looking good to go over into it, but I mean, as we'll keep saying, we'll be depending on a lot of, mid lane roam coming out from Zed should be pretty big here.
Yeah, we'll see. These guys do have that level 6 mark, so Zed will be able to start applying that semi-global pressure here. White taking a lot of chunk damage out from these bouncing bombs. Gonna have to play a bit more cautiously. Maybe pick up some boots on this next back. Yeah, we'll see if he wants to continue doing his staple buy with the Boots of Lucidity early.
Yeah,
likely going to be doing that.
With home guards, that is what he did with the Twisted Fate. I guess he just really values getting into lane fast. I mean, Twisted Fate seemed to be, cooldown early is pretty good for that, but...
Ooh, there's a lot of damage taken off of Johan from that Boomerang Blade.
Marcy going in for the stun onto Captain Nuke and get some nice trading damage going in, but Narbar is starting to fill up here for Captain Nuke. RC tries to turn this one around, but just eats more damage. And a pretty even trade, although... There's a little bit more health potions for RC is what it looks like.
Yeah, and we can see he is just going to go, Captain Nuke is just going to go ahead and go straight for that Giant's Belt. So likely will be the Randuin's Omen on the first item. So nothing too surprising there. RC is able to keep a pretty significant CS lead, 6, but the wave is crashing into his tower. So he should be able to pick this up with his Blade Surge on his Q. Keep himself ahead. That Sheen is going to do very nicely for these extended trades against Captain Nuke. Especially now that he has the incandescent blades that he can throw out to really regen in those team fights. So it has not yet come down to that. We can see now Yami playing around this bot side of the map, getting the Scuttle Crab by the look of it. There he goes in, throws out the ultimate.
RC, once going here, has the
low on mana.
Transcendent Blades going out for some extra regen. Captain Nuke going to be put over into Mega Gnar form. Middle lane, though, we might be seeing some junglers clash together here. Panther Lily has to jump over the wall out of the Dragon's Descent.
That is,
to get out of there.
Yeah, that is a pretty fantastic trade there. Get the Dragon's Descent out, only for the Elastic Slingshot from the side of Panther Lily. So big engage tool burned out there by Yami. He's just not able to find it. Had he knocked him out midair, that would have been pretty huge, but fortunately for him, cannot land that one. We'll go over and get White his blue buff, however, so he should be able to apply some pretty good pressure in this mid lane, use those death rays even more frequently against Zud, who is taking the slightest of CS leads, only 1 ahead at this point. Would actually expect a little bit more here, perhaps from this Ziggs, who is just such a good passive farmer. But I suppose with just how strong Victor is at the given moment, he's able to use that Death Ray to full effect and clear out this, clear out these waves.
So Devourers rushed here for Yami. Picked up this early Devourers, obviously. I mean, just
of course.
Jungle item for Shyvana. Actually roamed into this side of the jungle where he should have maybe been spotted out by the people. Maybe he got a different way in there. But anyway, I mean, he just wants to sack that up. But in middle lane, Panther Lily is actually looking for ganks here, but they cannot get down onto White. He did have to use the flash and the heal.
Yeah, that's really good pressure being applied here Does use the bounce, but the bounce for 2 summoners against white, that is a pretty good trade that I'm sure Panther Lily would be willing to take time and time again. Yami is joining as mid laner, but just really passing through.
Yeah.
Could put some pressure down on this dragon quite soon.
Yeah.
Shyvana, at this point, is pretty tanky. Can almost certainly solo that one out. You can see the Dragon's Descent has come back up for him as well. Even with just a little bit of help from Busted Ice here on this Alistar, they would be able to start this one up, and they do just that. It's going to be the ward in the backside of the pit, so they do have vision of this, but I don't think the Tilt God is going to be able to do too much to really interrupt this one. Johan throws out the rocket. We'll only find Busted Ice just too little too late. Wootton takes away first dragon in 11.5 minutes.
Yep, early first dragon, no kills coming out so far. And actually on the hunt to be used, that might change. Here comes the teleport coming down, Dragon's Ascent. That's ball from Yam to get in there. They're diving it onto Johan, and they pick up the kill. That's the first blood going over to Wootton. Nice there's an Nara ultimate coming out, but there are the knockups as well. They're trying to disengage, and it looks like they will be able to. Captain Nuke actually trying to turn it around. Captain Lily, Zadar going to be jumping in here.
He does not have the bomb.
Mega Friender Bomb isn't up here. Busted dies. Gonna get jumped on, and he will go down. So it's just traded 1 for 1.
1 for 1, but Dragon and First Blood over to Wootton. You can see a clear lead coming out for them now. 1,200 in the lead. And that First Blood did go over onto RC, which is a pretty key member to be able to pick that one up. And that's going to help him stretch his advantage in this top side of the map. You can see he's already almost 20 CS over top of Captain Nuke, who had a pretty fantastic teleport down into that bot side. But with Phage and Sheen and a dagger on top of that, his damage output is going to be pretty monumental against Captain Nuke. You can see is in fact going for that Randuin's Omen. 700 gold disparity between those top laners, so looking pretty good for the Aurelia. Almost dead even across the board everywhere else. The jungler here, Yami, actually pretty far ahead because of this CS. We can see that's spelling out a difference of almost 400 gold for him. But so far, so good here for Wootton. Just need to be a little bit more cautious on the backside of these engages.
So we're seeing
good invasive play, but he's got to be cautious. This is going to be the collapse down from Gnar.
Yeah, Gnar is going to be coming in here, but so is White. It is the victor, but actually looks like it may not amount to too.
They're going to invade this. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, it may be a 3v3 though.
Ziggs has bomb available if he wants to throw this out to try to get the steal.
He's going to be taken down here. He's going to go down low. They try to steal it away, but it does get picked up by the side. Thomas Wootton. Now they want to go in though.
Ooh,
here is the elastic slingshot. There is the let's bounce, but that's going to be a rocket coming through. Just goes wide though.
Yeah, so actually 3 ultimates used there by the side of Temple City, unable to reclaim that blue buff. Yami doesn't even have to use the Dragon's Descent to get out. That's going to be on the hunt. Pops here from Positivity. Sure, he's not going to mind that one. Oh, Johan gets knocked back. That's going to be the Pulverize. He's taking a lot of damage. The backswing will not connect from the Boomerang Blade. One more hit will take him down, but he's not going to be able to find it. The Chompers locking both Positivity and Busted Ice in. And without on the hunt, they'd have to burn a flash to try to get in range. I don't think they're willing to do that. Johan will be able to walk out with his life, but barely so.
Yeah, so close to going down. However, this tower may just swallow your Positivity, pushing up here as top lane to bottom lane. Not too sure which one we want to look at here, but bottom lane tower should be going down here. Yep, there it is. First tower of the game for Thomas S. Wootton. And once again, they just keep getting these, starting objectives. This is what they do with it. First game, he got the, the first objectives coming in for them. Second game, though, they weren't quite able to take those objectives and, convert that into a win, obviously. So we'll see what they're able to do. But once again, first dragon, first tower on the board for them.
Yeah, and that is a really solid start here. Wootton, of course, need to have every single advantage that they can possibly get to walk away with this game. Johan has proven himself in that last match that he knows how to play this Jinx to its fullest effect. And the longer they can delay him from getting his power spike, the better they will be for it. And see, he's going for the same build. Both of these AD carries are pretty much going for the same build. It's going to be that BF Sword Pickaxe. The Cloak of Agility has come through for Positivity, though, as he looks to close out that Infinity Edge. But Avarice Blade on both of them, so we will be seeing those static shivs coming through on both AD carries as well. Nothing too surprising in that regard.
Yami, once again, he's looking to go for a dive from behind the tri-wedge. This is what he did in the first
This
game.
is risky. Captain Nuke is almost near full Narbar.
Remember
he will be able to get this.
Remember what happened in the first game. Wasn't quite able to do anything here. Panther Lily, Panther Lily's right behind them. They're going to be going on Captain Nuke.
Oh, he hops out underneath the tower, though.
But here comes the jungler. There's a Gnar up against the wall. Panther Lily trying to follow up with the Let's Bounce. They don't have enough damage. Mega Inferno going to be coming through, but does not land in time. And Yami and RC decided to just turn it around.
He
the
almost
Flash
loses the
away to
Mega
get the knockups, though. They're so close to going down, but no one will fall. Very, very close, though. These teams have just been so close to dying, but it's still 2 kills on the board 16 minutes in.
Yeah, but that was actually in favor of Temple City. Both flashes were used by Yami and RC in that dive. Not able to get a kill, so they suffer for it. They only really lose the Mega Inferno Bomb and the Let's Bounce on the side of Temple City, so I'm sure they'll be more than happy to walk away with that exchange. Keep Gnar alive, though he is falling it further and further behind compared to RC on this Aurelia.
This is the first time we've seen a Gnar down on CS. The last time we saw the Gnar picked up, it was against the Hecarim, against the Rumble. Both of those Gnars had a pretty nice CS advantage, but this time RC 40 CS ahead of Captain Nuke. Huge difference there. There's 20 CS difference in the middle lane as well for White.
Yeah, I can see them. Everybody just walking back to lane, spending that gold that they are accruing for themselves. See, like you said, a very slight differential in that mid lane. 10 CS up gold, almost even. It's about 400.
So White's level 11. He actually hasn't leveled up W. You can see it there. He has
4
points in Q, 5 points in Death Ray, and no gravity field.
That isn't terribly surprising. Admittedly, it doesn't do too much for him at this point
not
because Zach is
fights,
a very mobile ganker. When he uses that Let's Bounce, he will be able to get himself out of that gravity field with relative ease. And Ziggs is obviously somebody who's going to sit very far back. Getting a gravity field on top of a Ziggs is almost impossible for White by himself.
Yeah.
So not too shocking that he doesn't go for that. As we get ready to see these team fights really start to evolve, especially around this Dragon Pit, which, you know, it has spawned up, we will likely be seeing him spec into that gravity field. Teleport is available for both of these top laners. We can see the Dragon has been started up by Wootton. They're going to be looking to secure their second one. Positivity ripping through this one. He goes in. He does not get the seal.
Mega Inferno Bomb will be coming in. Superman Death Rocket as well. And here comes the fight. Exhaust going down onto White.
Here comes RC.
No damage coming in. Tokok going to be going down to RC.
He can get on the side.
And he's chasing after his Zud is all by himself. White is going to be coming in here as well to put down the damage here, just playing the chase of cat and mouse. And White will be able to pick up the kill. That is 2 members down at Temple City.
Yeah, 2-0 for that exchange. Captain Nuke used the teleport, got stopped out by that Equilibrium strike, I'm sure, by RC there. And that is actually going to be... That is actually going to be the mid-tier 1 tower falling. So now Wootton 2 up in towers. And getting themselves a pretty good gold lead here as well. RC straight back up to that top lane, wreaking havoc on Captain Nuke, who is down below half HP. Trying to fire back as much damage as he can with those hyper stacks. But this is pretty bad for Temple City so far in this match. Not really able to get their foot in the door. Wootton looking to close this out as cleanly as humanly possible. Now 2 dragons up, going to help them close out these turrets even more. And really a lot of this has to be credited to RC, who is just really doing such an effective job on this Aurelia out of that top lane. Trinity Force has been completed for him, as have the Ninja Tabi, so just getting as much damage as he possibly can from that Jinx. Doesn't have to worry nearly as much from her auto attacks as he moves forward into this game. We'll see what he wants to start going for next. It will be the Giant's Bell in this back with that cloth armor. I'm sure that's just going to be a random wins open, so he can get onto that back line and stick right on them. So
aggressive build coming out here from Yami. He finished up the Devourers, now is building into the Blade of the Ruined King. And that's just really interesting. They're going to be relying on also to be that frontline tank, or they're just going to be trying to get to that back line, bursting them down before they can do any damage. Obviously, it's harder jumping onto Ziggs and onto Jinx, which are going to be fairly far back. And Yami is actually going to be trying to jump in, but right into the Flame Chompers.
RC goes right back in. The Equilibrium strike coming through. Positivity coming around the sidelines. On the Hunt is available. Does not want to use it here. So just going to apply some pressure here. Maybe try to take this tier 1. It would be the last tier 1 tower that Wootton has to take down. with RC and Positivity being so far ahead, I think they should be able to do this with relative ease. Captain Nuke going to do what he can, throwing out these boomerangs to try to take down these minions as fast as he can, but the tower's going to fall even faster, and RC should be able to jump back in, but looks like they don't want anything to do with that one, especially with Tilt God poking his head out from that tri-brush. They go ahead and disengage after taking down the tower. Wootton stretching that gold lead even more.
So after that, we are going to be seeing 3 towers in favor of Wootton to nothing, and also the 2 dragons in their lead. So they're continuing to just keep these neutral, or not really neutral, but objectives, global objectives in their favor here. Still no towers going down on their side of the map. Looking over at gold, we're seeing quite a few leads. This top lane leads 7,200 to 5,500. RC, of course, in favor there. There is some pretty impressive gold gaps coming out. Thomas Wootton having 5,000 gold over Temple City in total. I mean, it's been a low kill game, but Wootton definitely holding the advantage here.
Yeah, and that's really just the name of the game for Wootton. You know, they need to hold on to this advantage and just keep stretching it as much as possible while just minimizing mistakes. It takes one team fight, a couple kills for Johan to really swing this right back into the favor of Temple City, and we'll do everything that they can to avoid that. And it starts with a very aggressive play.
Flashes over the chompers, and that is the kill over to Yami. That is absolutely huge.
That is absolutely beautiful play by Yami. I'd love to see that again just for the sake of seeing it again. Yeah. Flashing the chompers to stick right on him. Fantastic.
RC chasing after Captain Nuke here. And Captain Nuke actually turns around.
He's got the Mega Bar.
He's going to be jumping and gets the double jump.
Good
gets
strike.
Stunned as he does land. RC now trying to get away. Boulder, so close to landing with bottom lane. Here's the fight.
That's a huge burst of damage coming out from that Chaos Storm, and it's sticking to Panther Lily as well, but White is taking up the turret. He knocks him forward. That's going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb coming through. Will it get a kill? It's not going to be enough. They split up the Zac. They're going to be able to take down these globules.
Coming through.
It finds White. Yeah, it pops off of Busted Ice, takes down White, so they do reclaim 1 kill, but overall, it's a 2-for-1 globally in favor of Wootton, all the same. And it looks like we might just have a replay of that one. We can see Zac comes in, gets a very nice Let's Bounce. White taking too many turret shots here. Tilcott just gets devastated by that percentage damage from Yami and that Chaos Storm coming out from White. And now with the arrival of Busted Ice, they just come through here, bop him out. They will pop him for the globules. And we'll see this this Super Mega Death Rocket come through.
Right? Yep. No, it's actually Busted Ice.
Yep.
He got killed by the AoE because Busted Ice tanked it up.
Gets hit by that, and the AoE is large enough to hit White and take him down. So a nice little reprieve kill for Temple City off of that, but all the same, just losing a lot of ground on the map. And we can see it's about a 6.5 thousand gold lead in favor of Wootton right now. At just 23 minutes, that is a massive discrepancy.
So now we're seeing Wootton continue to snowball this lead in their favor. Dragon's about to spawn in 30 seconds. Alright, going to be warming up here for this top lane. And in general, it just continually helps us Wootton keeping their advantage going. We are seeing White actually didn't go for the home guard on his cooldown boots, but he does have it. He also went for the Abyssal Scepter. I mean, there's a lot of magic damage again from the Ziggs with Zac. But, I mean, just very few kills coming in for Temple City. Thomas Wootton playing a very safe game. Going to be going over to now this Dragon. Gonna start this one up once again. They are so far 2-0 on Dragons. They may have the advantage here. Top laners are actually kind of duking it out in the top lane, but here's the Mega Inferno Bomb going again. They do pick up the Dragon for Thomas Wootton. And now Panther Lily wants to dive in. Teleport's coming in. Captain Nuke. Here comes RC though. He's going to be right on top of them. He jumps in there and he wants to get to that back line. Captain Nuke solo. Yami jumps and gets the kill. Look at the AoE coming out. That's a double kill for Yami. He's going to keep going in. He is just ripping them to shreds there. 1 kill for
the ace.
He keeps going in. RC gets in. A double kill with the dashes. That is the ace for Thomas Wootton.
That's going to be Baron going over to Wootton High School, just ripping through the health bars of Temple City at the Dragon Pit. My God, let's take a look at this one again as the replay comes up. Panther Lily goes in, and the Let's Bounce wreaks so much havoc, but there's not enough follow-up fast enough for Temple City to really take advantage of the crowd control. And then with RC's arrival, he comes in right with a Chaos Storm. Wow. Yami from the side, a beautiful split, and they just start ripping through the health bars of Temple City. You can see Zud with a fail flash, doesn't make it over the wall. He goes down for that, and then it's just a double dash coming in for RC. Finishes them off, gets the double kill. And the Baron certainly goes over to Wootton after that replay. And I don't know that there's anything that Temple City can do to come back from this.
Thomas and Wootton just so ahead now. The Baron coming up after that fight. This is probably the largest goal we've seen here. 12,000 gold, 25 minutes in here. Again, a match that's just been so back and forth is really starting to look in favor of Thomas S. Wootton. So, I mean, this is their advantage here. They love to have the split push going around for them. Pressure on all 3 lanes. Baron buff just allows them to do it so much better. And it's just hard pressed here for Temple City. Thomas is feeling the driver's seat, and this jungle Shyvana coming out from Yami. Really impressive results here.
Just wildly impressive results here for Wootton. Even in the first game where it seemed like they were really running away with it, it wasn't nearly as impressive or commanding as this game is right here. And a lot of that is in part to both RC, but especially Yami. 4-0-4, 8 out of 11 kills that he's participated in. He's just been a powerhouse on the Shyvana. And it's a wonder that we haven't seen this one come out before, because it actually hasn't been banned too much. And now Johan, what little more can I say here? RC just walks right up on him and he slows him out. He's got that rando in, so he can just stick to him like glue. He takes him down, really easy kill.
Captain Nuke here, slamming Yami up against the tower. But Yami is just still alive. Ooh. He has the Dragon's Descent away. The tower shot's coming through. He's so close to going down. Less than 30 HP here. He is still going to be safe, but he definitely does not want to. However, look inside the base. There's a dive coming in. Actually, a double kill coming up from Positivity behind the inhibited tower. Such aggressive plays coming out from Wootton in all 3 of the lanes. That will be the inhibitor going down.
Yeah, they're going to break the inhibitor line here at 27 minutes. Make quick work of that as Busted Ice tanks up the rest of that turret's HP. And this is going to be the split. It's going to be 2 inhibitors going down here in the base of Temple City. By the looks of it, Zud and Tilt God still about 10 seconds out each. White using that Death Ray to keep them staved off as much as possible. Captain Nuke, he hasn't even healed yet from that dive. It's going to be the forfeit.
Coming in, Wootton. Thomas S. Wootton pick up game number 4. Now 2-1.
Alrighty, here we go. Next game is going to be match point here as Wootton High School look to close out with a 3-1 series. This is all down to the wire now.
Next game is going to be game number 4 here.
Yeah,
it should be a great one. Temple City just falling so hard here. Thomas S. Wootton had such a great game coming out from them, really commanding from them.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely phenomenal. Nobody played poorly on the side of Wootton in that game. They denied the Jinx out early. The Zac pick just not paying off for Temple City whatsoever. Yeah. He had some decent pressure, some decent ultimates, but just not able to make any real picks come out that were essential. RC and Yami just playing like absolute gods with that Shyvana and Aurelia. I don't know what Temple City is actually going to do coming back into this next game in their pick and ban phase. There's so much now that we've seen Wootton use. I just don't know what they're going to prioritize as far as bans go. They might have to give up the Shen ban and maybe give that one over to RC. We'll have to see what happens. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We might have the final game of this best of 5 series when we come back. So don't go anywhere. Plenty more League of Legends action to come.